Hello, family. Welcome to the Daily Devotion with Rosaline. My name is Rosaline, and I'm here to share with you the Word of God. As I minister to you, I'll also be ministering to myself, as the Word of God is likened to a double-edged sword. So when I speak to you, I'll also be speaking to myself. So if you are new here, please kindly stay with me until the end of the video, and also consider subscribing to the channel. To the family, the subscribers who have already been here, who are already here, thank you so much for your support, and I ask you to continue sharing the channel so that it grows. Hello, family. So today I'm going to talk to you about the situations that come across our lives and what happens so that it becomes history. So today I'm going to be talking about the children of Israel, how they got out, how they managed to move out from Egypt, going out of Egypt, going out of bondage. They've been oppressed with Egyptians for 430 years. So generations and generations were being born and they were still living under bondage. They did not have free lives. Their lives were treated with cruelty. They were forced to do labor in fields. They were forced to build cities. They were also forced to do bricks and mortar, and nothing really was happening in their lives as the Egyptians were so cruel to them. Even male children, they were also killed to try and frustrate them and discourage them to keep multiplying. So this was the lives of Israelites in Egypt. So yourself, you could be also experiencing your own Egypt. You could be experiencing the things that your grandmother experienced, your mother experienced, your great-great-grandmother or grandparent experienced. That's Egypt that you are living in. So you need to move out of Egypt, and God will take you out. God will take you out. A lot could be happening in your life. You never know what's really happening. You try and see and try to perceive and try to think what's really happening in my life, but you will see that things will not be well. You could be living a life that could be oppressed, like your marriage. You are married, but the marriage is not working. Child of God, you are just living in that marriage because you don't want your children, you don't want your kids to grow up with separated children. So you are just trying to make it up for your kids, but you really know that that marriage is not working. You also could be in marriage and you could be barren. You may not be able to conceive. Both men and women may be affected with this barrenness, but today we shall call it, it shall come to pass. It shall come to pass as God is going to fight for you and God is going to make an exit for you, that you exit all these problems. You could also be having a partner who is very stressful. You have no voice, you have no control over her or over him. She does what she wants or he does what he wants. So you could be experiencing your own Egypt. You could be working and nothing is there to show up that you are working. You could be laying things on a lot of projects, but still nothing is coming to be fruitful in your life. So everything is just moving in another direction that is not expected. Your health is not well. You've got bad health. You are in your own Egypt. Your life is just full of pills. You could be taking pills as food instead of taking food as medicine, but you yourself, you're taking pills as food. And also bad luck is your portion. That's your cup of tea everywhere you go. You are unacceptable in the society. It's always strife, fights, and all that kind of thing. So you might have inherited bondages from your ancestors, from your great parents. You also could be losing your relatives due to untimely death. You could be losing your siblings, and you now wonder who is next and what is really happening. You lose cousins. Everyone around you is just dying. That means you are in your own Egypt, and your children could be also a burden to you, and you have nowhere, you have no control over your kids. That's a burden. That's your Egypt that you have. And you could be lonely. You could have everything, and you are just lonely, and you wonder where your life is heading to. You may be seeing and may be experiencing, like you see your age, you have grown in age, and you see you've got nothing that tarries with your age, and your purpose hasn't been fulfilled. Where you are right now is like a shaky ground. You are standing at a shaky ground where you just feel anytime this ground can swallow you up, anytime you can be swallowed. But I need to talk to you today and encourage you, and I want you not to make these mistakes as the children of Israel were about to make. So I'll read from the book of Exodus chapter 14. I'll read from the book of Exodus chapter 14. So I will start. I wanted to read from starting from verse 5, but no, let me start reading from verse 10. All right, so I'll read. And when Pharaoh drew near the children of Israel lifted their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were so afraid, and the children of Israel cried unto the Lord. Verse 11, and they said unto Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us to carry us forth out of Egypt? Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone that we may serve the Egyptians. For it had been better for us to save the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. I will end there, then I'll continue reading. So you see the children of Israel here, they were complaining to Moses. In actual fact, when they saw that, when they had left Egypt, they realized that the Egyptians were following, because God had hardened the heart of Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said, why have we let these people go? We should follow them and bring them back. They should continue serving us. So meaning that your problems, the demon that is tormenting you, cannot let go, because it continues wanting to use you. It continues wanting to oppress you. So when these children of Israel saw that the Egyptians were following them, they were so much afraid. They were terribly frightened, and they started saying to Moses, they cried to God in their fear, but at the same time, they also complained to their leader, who was a prophet, who was their seer, who was heading, who was like a person who could talk to God, but at that time, they could not trust him. So they said to him, were there no graves in Egypt that you took us out of Egypt? Why are you taking us? We should die you better leave us that we die in Egypt. We can just continue serving these Egyptians. It's better than us to die in the wilderness, because they were afraid, and also knowing the cruelty that the Egyptians had, they were so much afraid. Child of God, I want to encourage you that you are going through things, you are going through stuff, like I mentioned earlier on, like your marriage, your children, your health, everything. You are not well. But do you want to continue in that turmoil of your life? Do you want to continue in that affliction? Do you want to continue in that oppression? Do you want to continue? Because when this transition of exiting is happening, there's nothing that will just come like easy, like just come nicely. There's nothing like that. When you're coming out, definitely, when the pain is being removed from you, you will definitely also feel pain. So do you continue wanting to be in that situation, or you need to come out of that situation? These children of Israel were now saying to Moses, are there no graves? Were there no graves in Egypt? Was there no food in Egypt? It was better for us to continue serving. They wanted to continue serving under cruelty, under harsh conditions. They had no freedom. If you are in such a situation whereby you really see where you are right now, you are under oppression, but you continue, like you want to continue staying there and you want to continue living there, I am encouraging you, child of God, because the Lord is with you. The Lord of hosts will set an ambush before your enemies, and he will destroy them, because his name is Jehovah Sabaoth. He will never leave you, because when your problems seem to be so high, he's Jehovah banner. He will raise his banner against every enemy, and he will conquer. So I'm encouraging you, you don't need to act like these children of Israel, like the Israelites. Yes, Egypt, can you imagine, like generations and generations were being born in 430 years, and they were continuing having the same treatment. Do you want to continue having the same treatment that your mother had, that your grandmother, that your great-great-grandparent used to have? Affliction. You don't want to continue operating under affliction. You don't want to continue operating under cruelty of the devil. So you need to come out of Egypt, whichever Egypt that you are. People could be dying in your family and you don't understand what is happening. People could be alcoholic and you don't know what's happening. You could be stressed with a lot of things and you don't want that. You need to come out of the Egypt that you are in. And we hear in the next verse, on verse 18, when Moses was telling them and trying to tell them to be calm, he was telling them on verse 18 of chapter 14 of Exodus, and Moses said unto the people, fear you not, and stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show you today. For the Egyptians whom you have seen today, you shall see them no more forever. Verse 14, the Lord shall fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. Yeah, children of God, the Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. This is Moses telling the Israelites, and I am telling you also, child of God, that the Lord will fight for you. Whatever you are going through, the problems that you have been going through, the afflictions, the oppressions, everything, the lack, the poverty, the hindrances, the witchcraft that you have come across, you don't need to want to continue associating and say, I would rather stay under witchcraft spells, I would rather stay under poverty, I would rather stay under this bondage of not excelling, I would rather stay under this bondage of not excelling in life. You need to come out, because you shall see it no more. For the Lord thy God will fight for you, for he is the God of all flesh. And it shall come to pass in the Bible, like the phrase, it shall come to pass, it's written close to about 400 times. So it shall come to pass in your life that what you are seeing, you will see it no more. You shall not experience it anymore. Just continue trusting in God. He is the Lord thy God who gives you strength to do everything, to pray and to cry to him. You need to cry unto your God. You need to cry unto God, and God will see you through. He will take you through. He will take you out. There are a lot of strongholds, like our foundations, that are evil, wicked foundations that we were born under. God is going to take you out of that. There are strong men in the families that bind and that there, and they hold people's destinies, and they scatter everything. But I am saying to you, God is going to scatter this. God is just going to make sure that He has delivered you. He is our deliverer. So I'm encouraging you, child of God, that He is there for you. Do not be afraid, for He says in His word, He is with you in each and every time. Even when you are having these problems, He is with you. But you need to cry out to Him, as we hear on verse 10, that they were so afraid. In their fear, they were saying things to Moses, negative things, but they still cried to God. You need to start crying to God today. Maybe you are just saying God is seeing, and you are not saying anything. You are not saying any word. You need to cry out to God. You need to say things. You need to declare. You need to command and scatter everything that is going on in your life that is ungodly, that is hindering progress, that is making your progress, that is giving you stagnation in each and everything that you do. You are working and nothing is showing like you are working. You are trying so hard and it's so difficult for you to put food on the table. So this is what I had for you, child of God. I leave this word with you. Just know that in the transition of you going out of your problems, it's not going to be easy. You are going to see as if you are just going to be swallowed by the ground, but it's not. That God is with you. So what you just need to do, you need to continue crying to God and believing in Him, for He shall fight for you and you shall hold your peace. So this is what I had for you. Please do like, comment, and share. Until next time, bye for now.